Everybody, Karyn Bryan here talking with Bryan Battle, who is taking on Gabe Green at UFC Charlotte. Listen, obviously, this is a big deal for you. It's a home game, right? How fired up are you?
It's crazy because at my whole sports career, I've been like a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? That's what coaches have always said. I've been a hard worker, and I felt like that's what's gotten me through a lot of my fights, in training and whatnot, is, how hard you work and just wanting it more than the other guy. And you think you reach like the peak of how hard you can work, you know what I'm saying? And things happen, right? Like, when I had my son, like that took me up another gear. I didn't know I could work that hard until I had my son. This was like another thing where it's like I was already training for the fight. I felt I was working hard, but then as soon as I heard that it was going to be at home, that just took me up a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just to perform and to deliver an amazing performance in front of all my friends and family, it's tremendous. You know what I'm saying?
It's exciting, well, too, and it's hard, right? Because coming out of COVID with all this stuff, like so many people had to fight at Apex. So just being in an arena anyway, right? Like
Yeah,
regardless of where it is going to be a bonus. And then for it to
yeah.
be at home is great. But Bryan, there's also that part where like fighting at home sometimes is like too much pressure and everybody's hitting you up for tickets and you can't get any peace and all of that. So there can be a downside too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bittersweet things, but
Yeah.
for the most part, and maybe as the fight gets closer, I'll feel a little bit more of that pressure. But
Yeah.
um, no, this is a moment I've been preparing for a long time. This isn't something I feel pressure for. It's something I feel anxious to go out there and perform. You know what I'm saying? I feel so good. I feel so good. I can't, I'm stronger, faster. I'm peaking at the right time. My skills are in a different place. Like I'm ready to go out there and just perform and put on an amazing show. You know what I'm saying? That's what, anytime anyone asks me about it, I'm like, it's going to be magical. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you be there. It's going to be. So I don't feel a whole lot of pressure right now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where if people hit me up about anything ticket related, I just kind of ignore
Yeah,
it.
it's like what was that old thing like? Let me Google that for you or whatever. There's the whole thing. It's
Yeah,
just like
you know what I'm
Ticketmaster.
saying?
Like, do I
Like
look like?
you can figure it out. They'll figure it out. If they want to be there enough, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so listen, there's a lot to talk about because obviously you won the Ultimate Fighter as middleweight, but then have since dropped down to welterweight. So, and I'm guessing that, right? Because I can't remember if you came to the desk with us after one of the fights, but that was always kind of the plan, right? Or was it just that? Was it that middleweight was available at the time and you went there, or did you just realize after the fact, hey, wait, maybe I'm better off as a welterweight?
It was really just something where the reality of my life just kind of changed after
Hmm.
tough. Like when I
Okay.
went on tough, like that had been something that people had suggested before, just kind of like looking at the body fat that I
Yeah.
had. But
Yeah.
like my body composition is just weird anyways because I've lost so much weight, and
Uh-huh.
I really felt like I was like a lifer at 185. I felt good at 185. Like when I was in the house, I was the biggest guy in the house. Like
Yeah.
frame wise and weight wise, I was the biggest dude in the house. But after I won tough and I was able to just dedicate more time to training, and I wasn't trying to lose. There was actually a period of time where I was trying to get bigger. Like I was trying to
Okay.
become more muscular, so I bumped up
Yeah.
my athletic training, I'm taking in more protein and all this stuff, and I was losing weight, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I kept on losing weight. And when I went to fight Trésean, I didn't even have to really cut. I didn't have to like do the sauna to do like a water cut.
Hmm.
Like it just kind of came off naturally. And simultaneously before I fight Trésean, I'm in the back and I see all these guys like all these welterweights that are the same size as me. Like someone like Shavkat,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He's literally in
Right.
my locker room. I'm looking at him, I'm like, we're the same size. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I think I can make welterweight. I did a test cut. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? I feel big and strong. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I didn't really lose anything. So it felt it just kind of happened naturally. It wasn't
Uh-huh.
anything planned per se. It just kind of came up and we jumped on it.
Well, that sounds like a good reason for it as well, too. It's like, that's the thing. Yeah. The more fine tuned you get as an athlete, yeah, you realize like, wait, and it's interesting because how big were you at your biggest? It's like always a trip to me to hear about when people do this. It's because I'm always like, good for
Yeah.
you. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing to pull, like, like Khalil Roundtree was really big, he said, you know what I mean? And he got smaller. So how big were you at your biggest?
I was right at 300 pounds.
Oh my.
My first amateur fight was at heavyweight. So yeah, no, I've had like a couple of just like it, and it was really MMA that did it for me. Kind of
Yeah.
like Khalil. Like I wasn't. I knew I needed to get in shape. Like there was
Yeah.
something because I played sports in high school, and I knew I needed to get in shape. But I never really saw myself as a small person because even in high school I was 240, between 240 and 270. So I started training MMA, and then a lot of weight just came off just because of the training. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I didn't change my diet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then for competitive reasons, I dropped down to light heavyweight, and then as my body changed and I felt like I could push it more, I would just push it more. So that's how we just got all the way down to welterweight. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. And and the thing about it, like, I don't want to be too corny, but that actually is inspiring. I mean, I know we joke a lot about people sitting on the couch and they're telling you what to do and they're not athletic, but like that actually does speak to, how you can change your life, right?
Yeah.
But you were always athletic because I feel like, and I don't know if you noticed here, Brian, I'm actually a huge Winnie the Pooh person myself. So here's my Pooh necklace. I actually collect Winnie the Pooh stuff and I have all my life. I'm looking right now, like within eyesight, I can spot like 5 Winnie the Pooh things just in it's something I've loved all my life. And partly it's because I could relate to him. I'm like, he just wants to hang out with his friends. He wants to eat some good food and just chill. Right. But like, so I was a person, even though I was athletic, I definitely used to eat my feelings and that kind of stuff. So do you know like the point, like why you were big, or do you come from a big family? Were you eating your feelings? Like what do you look back on now and go, oh, that's why, and now I have it all together?
For sure. Like I would say, yeah, we were all big boned. I had 5 sisters, and I lived with 4 of them growing up, and so we all, it's funny. It's like if you brought something into the house and it could have been anything, and you opened it up and you didn't finish it and you didn't hide it, if you left and came back, it would be gone. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, we're eating dinner and there's only so many chicken wings, you know what I'm saying? So you're trying to get as many, I guess, I don't know, we're greedy, but we're just a big boned, well fed family, you know what I mean? And for me, I think I always kind of liked being big too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my dad's not a small guy. Like, I'm still not taller than him. He's still a little bit taller than me.
Okay, nice.
But, he walks around like 220, 230. So,
big people.
It was always tied to athleticism. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had an athletic reason to be smaller, than I would be smaller, but otherwise, like, I was happy.
Dude.
Sometimes today, like, I'll be like, yeah, I got abs, but am I as happy as I was when I didn't have abs? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely been really cool, and kind of like you said, is cool seeing how it like unintentionally like affects other people. You know what I'm saying? Like people are like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if he can do that, that means I can do that. You know what I mean? So, no, it's dope.
I love it. I think it's great. And so, in terms of those 2 divisions, so middleweight and welterweight, I think it is, smart idea when we look at how big Alex Pereira is, and now he's going, up. But like when you think about that, the dudes are massive. Some of them definitely are. So in welterweight too, obviously, at the title, there's kind of a little log jam, and we'll see what happens tomorrow with Gilbert and Bilal and stuff. But what do you think when you look at that division? Was that part of it too? Is that you look at that one division as compared to the other and go, hey, there might be more opportunity here?
Well, honestly, I think middleweight is the easier division to climb up.
I think so too, a little bit. That's why I was like, you gotta be careful.
that is kind of like actually, I think like initially that was a kind of a little bit of a regret. I was like, maybe I should have stayed at middleweight for a little while longer, then dropped to welterweight, because it just seemed so much easier to get fights at middleweight, because it was a little like welterweight is just like the whole division is stacked. Like even outside the top 15, there's a couple killers, you know what I'm saying? And so it's a little bit hard, and there's some bigger names at welterweight too, you know what I'm saying? Like once again, even outside the top 15, you know. So that was kind of something that I didn't anticipate when I dropped to welterweight. I was just like, oh, I can do this, I'm gonna just drop to welterweight. Then afterwards I was kind of like, maybe I should have waited a little while longer before, because I've made suggestions. I've been like, yeah, I'll go fight that guy, and my agent's like, no, you're not. You've already picked your path. You're staying on that path. It's not as easy to do the whole Hamzat thing, you know what I'm saying? Where you can bounce between weight classes.
I was just gonna say, it's tough, because like I said, I know some people that are contemplating, switching divisions, and like they've done the practice cut and they've made it, and it's because it's middleweight has maybe some more opportunity, but then again, like that doesn't necessarily help the matchmatchmakers out any, like you know what I mean?
No, not at all, not at all. It's just like
really.
Another person, you know what I mean? And so, but. I mean, I think overall, what's cool about it though, when I look at it, is if you are the welterweight champ, like that means what you had to go through to get there, especially like right now. Like there's a lot of young guys on the come up, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of older guys at the top, you know what I mean? All the different wars you're going to have to go through. Like you are legitimately, you have to be a pound for pound top. I mean, if you're a champ in any division, you have to be a pound for pound.
Right.
But if you're the champion of the welterweight division, that automatically has to put you top 5 pound for pound in my division. And in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, well, and that's the whole thing, right? Because if you think about like somebody as good, as hard to beat as Bilal is and stuff like that, and this guy can't even get to the title shot yet because there's people better than him and like more deserving, you know what I mean, or whatever. You're like, holy crap, yeah. It's pretty wild. It's kind of crazy, but also like later in your life, you still have so much time that you could always go up in weight later on. You know what I mean? You got nothing but opportunity.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious for you, like the whole thing before with Trésean, like that got so animated and like feisty, it was so weird for those like you and Trésean were supposed to fight in the finale, and then he couldn't fight because he got hurt, and so then you fought Urbina instead, but then you eventually did fight Trésean. But like looking back on that, how do you feel about that? I mean, it's great to have that kind of buzz. I think it maybe helps some things and helps get some attention, but at the same time, I remember a lot of us were kind of scratching our heads. We're like, how can there be this much beef and animosity yet? Like you guys just got here. I don't know. It seemed like it was a lot.
Well, the thing is with me and Trey, we had, because we fight in the same region, and so we had been booked to fight each other multiple times. So we already knew each other. We already knew of each other. And like we laughed about it when we both got on the show, because literally, not too long before we got on the show, we got offered to fight at a promotion for 300 and 300, like that's 3 and 3. Okay. And my coaches were like, no, you guys are worth more than that. And then, turns out, the time we actually fight
you are
is, in the UFC. But Trey, he's a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? He's a really nice guy. But when he's fighting you, he definitely likes to, try to play some mental games. He tries to bully you a little bit. And it's just like, in the house, I observed that. So, I just wanted him to know, what I'm saying, after we got matched, if he got in my face, like I wasn't playing games with him, you know what I'm saying? Right. So we talked a little bit. Sometimes I didn't talk at all, you know what I mean? But I always wanted it to be on, how you say it? I wanted to be on my terms, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't on his terms, it was on my terms. So, and that's just like Trey is one of those people where it's easy to escalate things, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people where it's easy to escalate things. So it could be like nothing one day, and then the next day it could be like a blood feud, you know what I'm saying? So us together in the finale, that was perfect. And then he got hurt, so that was kind of tough. Like Gil, like we had no real beef, you know what I'm saying? Like That was just competitive.
Right.
But yeah, no, Trey, that was fun. That was a good time.
It is well, and it's funny because I know like there is something to be said for like when you know you can wind somebody up to like that. It's
Yeah,
kind of fun.
well, it's funny because even after, literally right after we got out of the house, the recording finishes, all
Yeah.
the night after, before everyone goes home, like me and Trésean hung out that entire night together, like
Oh,
just chilled
nice.
out, like went around Vegas and we were giggling because we were like, yeah, nobody knows that we have to fight each other, in a couple months,
Yeah.
and then yeah, like so, then things really get competitive, and you just got two
Right.
competitors who aren't willing to back down. You know what I'm saying? So it was good times. Good
It's
times.
good stuff. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, so you're 3-1 then officially, right, in the
Yeah.
UFC.
Yes.
It's win or learn. So since the
Mhm.
last one didn't go your way, what are the lessons you kind of hope that you can process from that and improve on coming out against Gabe Green?
Man, I tell you what, that fight was so amazing on like different levels, right? There was
Okay.
like stuff happening before the fight that I learned from, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Obviously, a lot of stuff during the fight that I learned from. Renat is just top notch.
Yeah.
Here's something like easy I can give that anyone can take and run with if you're a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Renat, if you look at his tape, it was clear that he was a wrestler.
Hmm.
Um, but he shot like doubles and single legs, you know what I'm saying, which is
Hmm.
like the most basic kind of takedown for the most
Yeah.
part. So like, you see that and you're like, oh, I know how to defend a double leg. I know how to defend a single leg. I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But if someone is able to hit double legs and single legs without being stopped in the UFC, that probably means there's something special about their
Yeah.
and single leg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was so it was really cool. After that fight, it just kind of you're on a streak,
Yeah.
things are going my way. I just came off that big knockout. I really felt
Hmm.
like no matter what happened outside the cage, whatever, if I got into the cage, I would find a way to win. And
Hmm.
just I could have been more prepared for the fight. You know what I'm saying? It was short notice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so the preparation, the lack of peaking, um, and the all the other things that you kind of take for granted. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
While you're winning, kind of like pop up
Yeah.
in this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like simple things like sprawling more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like things you take for granted. You get reminded that these are the best guys in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Hmm.
isn't just somebody. These are the best guys in the world. So you have to be able to compete at the highest possible level that you're able to
Right.
compete at. So there was I could talk for like an hour about all the lessons that I learned from that fight. And yeah, coming into Gabe Green, I am just in a different place. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like all those things have been worked on. I'm stronger, faster, you know what I'm saying, more technical. I'm peaking at the right time.
Hmm.
Physically, I feel amazing. So it's just, uh, you know, eh, everything's going my way right now. You know
Nice.
what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, Gabe, you seem like a nice guy. I'm going to smoke you on the 13th. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Nice. Nice.
I'm going to beat him up on the 13th. So,
So now, and what's going on with the hair now? I'm trying to figure out. Is it
yeah. Well, so my hair was always, I grew it out with my win streak. You know
okay?
what I'm saying? So I had long hair at a certain point. I lost my second pro fight, had to cut it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I know it's weird sometimes. You know what I mean? And so then I went on this really long win streak, and my
Yeah.
hair got really long. And then after the last fight, you know what I'm saying? As soon as I got back to the hotel room, one of the first things I did was cut off my hair. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
it's a different color. That was a joke that actually kind of like stuck.
The blonde Brunson joke, like.
Well, man, I tell you what, Brunson, Pete Davidson,
Yeah.
Kevin Randleman,
Yes. Of course.
Eminem. I've got them all.
Right. Yeah.
When my hair gets a little curlier and I got my roots are grown in, people start talking about Justin Timberlake and NSYNC and whatever. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But No, this was no, my sisters. I was me and my sisters went to an Airbnb, just a little sibling getaway.
Yeah.
My sisters are like, you should let us dye your hair. You know what I'm saying? It'll be funny. You could just cut your hair off. It's already short. And I was like,
Right.
it'll be funny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we did it, and it was funny. Everyone was like, whoa, that's crazy. But then I was like, you know what? I don't hate it, dude.
Yeah.
You know
You're
what
like,
I'm saying?
I kind of working for me. Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
this isn't bad. So yeah, it's still here.
Yes. Well, be careful though, because I think your hair texture is a little looser. Because Angela Hill had her afro dyed blonde for a while, but I remember she would get like divots because at wrestling practice or whatever because the hair got so dry from being bleached that it would break off and stuff like that. So that's the one thing is that if it's blonde, it's gonna maybe be a little bit more delicate.
I feel that. I know. I
Yeah.
feel that. But no, it's when I start growing it out again for real.
Yeah.
If I grow it out again for real, that's a big commitment. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it is.
But if I did that, then I wouldn't dye it anymore. Like I only keep it short and dyed because
Right.
I don't want those problems. You know what I'm saying? We're
Nice.
gonna cut off the dead hair, have some new hair, be easy peasy. You know what I mean?
I get it. I love it. Well, listen, I'll let you get out of here, but I'm excited to see you back in action, and it's a hometown fight for you against Gabe Green at UFC Charlotte. So, yeah, just anything the folks should expect, or something like you kind of a message or a statement or something you hope to prove or hope to show yourself even in this fight. Like, do you go in with like a win or lose? I hope I at least can show and do this thing in this fight.
No, this fight is more so just like a tribute to all the people who believed in me. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
One from around here. This is, you know, I've already proven everything I've had to prove. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
already further than most people ever thought I was gonna go. And so this is really just gonna be a statement. You know what I'm saying? A declaration of who I am, where I'm from, and where I intend to go. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well, congratulations already on your success in the UFC and have fun. Hopefully you can take it all in. You hear about people when they fight in their hometown and they're, just try to give yourself a second during the walkout to like actually process it and take it in.
I'm just hoping I don't cry in the walkout. That's
It's okay.
that's really what I'm most concerned about is like having to like dry my eyes before going to fight somebody in the cage.
It's okay. Look at BJ Penn used to do it, and look, that man was still a badass. So,
You're not lying about it. You're not lying about it.
all right, well, Bryan, congrats on everything, yeah, and best of luck against Gabe, and we'll see you in action in the octagon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.